It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'm Mayor Shull. This is the town of Batesburg-Leesville, our regular council meeting on January the 14th, 7 p.m. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here on a very chilly, brisk night. And at this time, I would like to invite Kent Suits, Reverend, to please give our invocation, if you would, Kent.
Thank you again for this opportunity. Did you want me to turn this back on? Thank you again for this opportunity. I want to read a verse out of Galatians chapter 1. This is verse 10. It says, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ." Let's pray according to that verse there. Let's pray. Father God of creation, Lord of heaven and earth, you set up rulers and dominions. You establish kings and kingdoms and councils and communities. And we are your servants, as your word says. We are here to minister your truth to others. And so I pray for myself and I pray for my friends here tonight that we would serve you and that we would serve others to whom we have been called, and that we would not fall into the temptation that easily sets in, that temptation to do for others just because of the approval we might get from them, to say things that we think people would want us to say because we want their respect, or we want them to value us in one way or another, and that we wouldn't avoid making decisions and having conversations that might threaten our positions or our statuses or people's opinions of us, but that we would, in all our decisions and in all our actions and in all our words, that we would honor you and that we would serve others to which you have called us. And when we don't do that, would you forgive us? We pray that as we enter into this meeting tonight, that you would be with my friends here on the council, that you would enable them to really truly make decisions and have conversations for the good of the people, and that you would help them to do that out of love. Grant us grace and mercy in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. If we would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And veteran of the Spanish-American War, I believe it was, right, Mr. Gambrell?
Correct.
Yeah. If you would lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball. Thanks, sir. All right. At this time, let's moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Prouse, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hallman. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? And the agenda is approved unanimously. Moving on to item 5, adoption of the minutes from November 12th, 2018 regular council meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Gambrell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hallman. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? The adoption of the minutes from November 12th, 2018 regular council meeting have been approved unanimously. Moving on to the adoption of the minutes from the November 26th, 2018 council work session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
To adopt, sorry. Thank you. Mr. Gambrell, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Prouse. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Minutes from the November 26, 2018 council work session were adopted unanimously. Moving on to the adoption of the minutes from the special council meeting on December 17th, 2018. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Mr. Prouse, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Adoption of the minutes for the December 17th, 2018 special council meeting have been approved or adopted unanimously. Moving on to item 6, the mayor's report. The next regular council meeting will be on February the 11th, 2019. And we all want chocolate, Teddy, for Valentine's Day. Item B, council committees reports. Mr. Gambrell, do I have anything from the Central Midlands COG?
No, sir, it didn't meet.
All right, moving on to item 2, do we have anything from Environmental Planning Advisory, Councilman Prouse?
No, did not meet in December.
And that leaves it next to me for the Joint Municipal Water and Sewer Commission. We did meet last week on Wednesday, January 9th, a pretty lengthy meeting, and with a lot of different things in that meeting. The number one being a press release and actually a decision by all of the commissioners, including myself, to purchase land on Lake Murray at the end of Counts Ferry Road. It's either 47 or 44 acres, with the intention of building a water plant on that site somewhere in the next 10 to 20 years. And that would be the wish of again, it's Joint Municipal Water Association, Water Commissioners. Moving on, let's see. Is there a chamber update from Mr. Mike Taylor, please? If you would approach Mr. Mike. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to y'all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Batesburg-Leesville Chamber of Commerce and Business Center, its members and board, I want to congratulate Ms. Etheridge and Mrs. Whittle on y'all's election to the town council. Just like y'all having a new council, we have a new board. We had 3 new people join our board. They are Adam Kowicki of Rich Manufacturing, Lacey Ridgel of Mid-Carolina Electric Co-op, and Leanne Reichard with All South Credit Union. We are happy to have them with us. I did not get a chance due to the changing last month of being before you, so I didn't get a chance to thank the town of Batesburg-Leesville, their employees and their departments, and with the Chamber of Commerce, with the Christmas parade, and also the tree lighting. I thought it went real well. The weather could have been better, but at the same time, it could have been a lot worse. If we had not done it that weekend, we would have been out because the next 2 weekends it poured rain. So we were fortunate that we were able to do that. The Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance had an inspirational community Thanksgiving service in November. I didn't get to cover that. That was very successful. The mission of the Dream Catchers is to create resources to help our youth become leaders and responsible citizens. They are doing that, and they will study the Robert's Rules of Order and attend as many town council meetings as they possibly can. During the Summer of Excellence program, they plan to make a mock government structure of Batesburg-Leesville, elect a mayor and a council person from each district, and appoint several town employees. They will also have a meet and greet coming up on January the 17th. The Arts on the Ridge elected new officers and board of directors in the December meeting, and they will be meeting this Thursday to plan what's coming on the rest of the year. Each January, the chamber submits a request for accommodation tax money. If we're successful with this request and the extra money, the chamber will explore the possibility of using some of this money and this funds to promote the community and events. And we will do that hopefully by putting brochures and so forth in the welcome centers and entering South Carolina. We will certainly promote South Carolina Poetry Festival, and with events coming up hopefully in the near future through the hospitality tax and so forth, that'd be a great avenue to promote those too. So we hope to use those funds for that. In closing, you know, we want, all of us want the industrial park to be filled and so forth. But at the same time, we need to recognize those successes within our community. And having said that, certainly want to congratulate the Batesburg-Leesville Animal Hospital for their expansion and so forth. That's a testament to what's going on in this community, and we're certainly thankful for that. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike, for your service to the community. Moving on to item 7, public comment regarding items on the agenda. No one has filed anything, so we have no unfinished business. So moving on to item 9, new business. A, presentation of the fiscal year 2017-2018 audit by Amy Eli and Dooley and Company. Ely, thank you. I apologize for that. Do you need any introductions, or would you like to just come on up, or?
You can come on up.
All right.
Miss Amy Ely, everyone.
Good evening. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the audit for the year ending June 30th, 2018. The town received a good opinion. We didn't find any issues during that year. During the audit year, the town did not issue any new bonds or become obligated for any new leases. Did continue payments on a capital equipment lease from 2016 and a 2015 bond. You'll notice in the audit that the general revenues of the town, which include property taxes, state revenue, license and permits, accounts for about $3.8 million. Program revenue, which includes grants and payments for services, are about $3.5 million. So the total revenue of the town and the DPW is approximately $7.3 million. And the town and utilities had expenses of approximately $6.7 million. So as you can see, revenues were adequate to cover all your expenses for the year. On the statement of financial positions, the town had assets of about $19.7 million and liabilities of $7.6 million. Included in that liabilities is something new called a pension liability, and that accounts for about $5.3 million of your liability. And basically what that is the town's proportionate share of the state police retirement system. The net position of the town was approximately $11.7 million. And the net position is an indicator of the government's financial position. The net position of the town increased by about $573,000, which is about a 5% increase over the prior year. So I think that's a clear indicator that financially the town is in better position than it was the prior year. In the prior year, we had recommended that the towns implement a cash reserve policy. The cash reserve for the town has improved since last year, and you do exceed our recommended amount of 25% of the budget expenses. So I congratulate the mayor and the town on improving your overall net position, and have a good night.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Oh, thank you. Hold on one second. Yeah, or naturally.
Okay, so we're going to vote to accept the audit, correct? And then we'll discuss. So do I have looking for a motion here in new business to accept the presentation of the fiscal year 2017-2018 audit as just presented? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Simpkins, and a second by Mr. Gambrell. Now, is there any discussion?
Will we have an opportunity to address anything in here next month that we may find?
If you come across something, give me a call or email me whatever questions or information you may need from that, and we'll certainly get that to you on.
All right, thank you.
believe this is the quickest that you've gotten our budget to us in several years, right?
Usually it's about December.
Pretty good.
What are we accepting? Are we accepting the fact that it was given to us, or are we accepting the package itself? Because I'm not gonna accept something that I haven't had a chance to read or go over and make sure it's correct.
The motion is to accept the audit as presented. That's what the motion has been made, seconded, that's what the vote would be, is to accept the audit as it's been presented today.
So you saying we accept whatever is on here
Yes, ma'am.
without any question?
Yes, ma'am. And my understanding, I just asked the
Okay.
town manager, and it was in the package.
All right. I didn't even hear that.
Any other discussion? District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 4,
District 4 votes yes.
District 5,
No?
District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The presentation of the fiscal year 2017-2018 audit has been accepted. Thank you very much for all the hard work, and thanks to town for working along with the audit. Much appreciated. Moving on to new business, proclamation of adopting the Municipal Association of South Carolina 2019 Advocacy Initiatives.
Motion to adopt.
A motion from Mr. Simpkins to adopt,
Second.
second by Ms. Hallman. Any discussion on that?
Can we get a clarification from town manager?
Yes, please, Ted, if you would, for all of us and the public.
Okay, so every year, the Municipal Association in the fall goes around and does legislative briefings throughout the state, talking with different cities that come about what's important to them as future advocacy initiatives for them to go to the State House and try and assist us in legislation changes, things of that nature. What they took from the last round of legislative meetings is 3 things that they want to put their advocacy focus on for this year. One is updating the local government fund formula that's used. Obviously, the local government fund is something every year that's been a challenge to get that funded. So they want to look at coming up with a new formula to propose to the House for adoption. The second thing is they want to expand flexibility in using the accommodations and hospitality taxes. And with that, more specifically, they want to expand the flexibility in using the accommodation and hospitality taxes for infrastructure and law enforcement and tourist-related areas. And then the last thing is reducing the wait time for law enforcement hires to be trained at the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. It's pretty common for new hired police officers to have to wait 6 to 8 months sometimes to actually get a date for the police academy. They want to try and put things in place to speed up that time frame to get new hires in. That's the 3 in that advocacy initiatives they're asking y'all as a council to back through this proclamation.
That they will be taken to our state legislatures,
Right.
trying to get it passed through.
And this is something that's done at other towns across, other municipalities across South Carolina.
Correct. They ask every city in town to
To get
pass this
support
proclamation.
in the legislative body to advocate on behalf of these things. It's just added weight so that we have, as municipalities, have a voice in Columbia. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we accept this.
Motion's already been made. We're actually at a vote.
Call.
All right. District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 4,
District 4 votes yes.
District 5.
To decide.
Thank you, yes. District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The proclamation adopting the Municipal Association of South Carolina 2019 Advocacy Initiatives has passed. Thank you very much. Moving on to item C, the first reading of ordinance establishing a budget for the local hospitality tax. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Do we have a budget before us?
You do.
We do. It's in the packet. Yes, sir.
$200,000 revenue reflected.
Oh, I remember seeing that. I make a motion, we accept.
Motion by Mr. Gambrell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Prouse. And now, any discussion?
There is. Now, Ted, can you explain this budget to council as to what this ordinance will establish?
Okay, hang on one second, sorry. The ordinance is, what we projected is 200,000 in revenue from the January 1, 2019 until June 30th of 2019. We've projected 200,000 in revenue to come in. Going back to the work session, I believe it was November 26th. In discussing with council on how we want to reflect the expenses to show a balanced budget where our revenues and expenses equal, what council asked me to do was to just set up a hospitality tax reserve for that 200,000 to be placed into a bank account until such time as council votes for any particular expenditures within the hospitality tax ordinance or something's brought to council for approval. But it will be in a separate fund from any other funds of the town. And so this ordinance establishes that budget reflecting the revenues and expenses.
Now, how will this ordinance allow these funds to be removed or expended? They cannot be expended?
Mm-hmm.
And what?
Without council's approval.
Yeah, we have to approve that. This is just setting up this is setting up a line item in the budget. Has the bank account been established?
It has.
Okay.
So essentially what you're doing is you're setting up a reserve account, and the money's going into the reserve account. And before any of that money can be spent out, we gotta go through another ordinance. Because you're establishing it by ordinance, you have to go through another ordinance, 2 readings and a public hearing before anything can be spent out of that reserve account.
And would that be for every expenditure?
Until you establish where the money's going. And when you do the next budget, you could do as many projects as the council votes to do, but right now, everything is just going into reserve account until such time as council chooses to start spending money on whatever projects council decides to spend the money on. You follow what I'm saying? So you could vote every time you spend $1 if you want to, but that's not realistic. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pick your first project, and you will have a budget given to you. This project's gonna cost $100,000, here's what it's gonna be spent, and you approve that as your budget.
So no monies can be spent out of this account until we approve another budget.
The last
June
line-
30th.
The last
Or
line.
we take a vote at a meeting.
The last
Mr.
line
Prouse.
of the budget actually said, shall be held there until such time as council passes a more specific budget for the expenditure of said funds. So it is not going
We
anywhere.
have to pass another budget.
And we will, before July 1st.
June 30th.
Right.
But June 30th.
Yeah. This is just amending the current budget so that we have a place to put that income as it starts coming in, starting in February. There's nothing coming out of that account.
Ted, would you just take a moment?
Let me just say that one more time. Nothing is coming out of the account. Everybody take a deep
Refresh
breath.
our memory for the public's benefit as to where these funds will be coming from.
This is 2% on prepared food and beverage, 2% on prepared food and beverages within the town limits of Batesburg-Leesville. So your restaurants, your delis that serve food, and Walmart, IGA, Bilo, things of that, quick carry hot dogs, things.
So everybody should expect to pay a little more
It
in the
began
future,
January 1st.
from this day forward until death do us part.
Again, what we're voting on right now, if we can, let me just focus us back in. This is a first reading ordinance establishing a budget line item for the local hospitality tax. That's all we're voting on right now. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, are we sure that all the entities in town are collecting this 2%?
We have reached out to them, and they are. Since
They are?
January 1st, since it began. We came across a couple about 5 days into the new year, and we made contact with them and have since followed back up, and they are collecting.
Mr. Mayor, that was also a question of mine. You reached out to those 5, so every entity is.
I believe we have confirmed everyone at this point. Correct.
Yeah, Council, to follow up to your comment, another budget would have to be approved before any funds can be withdrawn out of this account.
That is correct. There's no way that this money
Because the
can be
mayor
spent.
is whispering in my ear over here. that
Oh, I'm
we
sorry.
could vote to expend some of those funds prior to June 30th.
But if
You can amend.
we can amend the ordinance by 2 votes, at any time we want to do 2 votes.
To read it.
2 readings, yes, just like we set it up. We set it up this way so that this can't be robbed, it can't be used frivolously, and it takes 2 votes of this body to spend the money.
2 readings.
And 2 readings. 2 readings.
And the public hearing.
And a public hearing. So, other municipalities don't do this, but in Batesburg-Leesville, the people spoke, and that's what we're doing.
Yes.
Any other discussion? It's just a line item in a budget. Okay?
Reserve account.
In a reserve account.
Nothing to reserve.
District 1,
District 1, vote yes.
District 2,
District 2 votes yes.
District 4,
District 4 votes yes.
District 5,
As long as nothing can be removed from that account unless council approves it, yeah.
thank you, District 6,
Yes?
District 7,
Yes.
District 8,
Yes.
and I vote yes. First reading ordinance establishing a budget of the local hospitality tax has been approved. Moving on to item D, the first reading of ordinance to amend the business license ordinance to reflect changes to the MASC model ordinance. And this was in our packets. Do I have a motion to approve first reading of this ordinance?
Motion to adopt.
Mr. Simpkins with a motion to adopt. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Prouse. Any discussion?
Some clarification from town man.
Yeah. You know, I see what this says.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and start with clarification. The Municipal Association of South Carolina, as you know, we follow the model business license ordinance that they put out, and from time to time, they'll amend that and ask all municipalities to follow the amendments. They have made some recent amendments to it, and all of these amendments are part of standardization that they're trying to do statewide among all municipalities. Some of the complaints and some of the things that have threatened business licensing at the State House are the differences that each city had in different rates and different classifications and different due dates. And they've even come up with a portal now where people can pay multiple city business licenses on one portal through the Municipal Association, just to simplify and ease that burden on contractors and businesses. So as a part of the standardization,
Excuse me, Ted.
yes, sir.
That portal will allow businesses to pay directly to the municipal.
The example I would use is Walmart. Walmart has many municipalities throughout, or within many municipalities throughout the state.
Right.
Well, previously they had to work with each one of us individually. Now Walmart as a corporation can go on and pay every city in one portal site through the Municipal Association versus versus having to reach out to all of us and work with all of us individually.
Makes sense.
Okay. One of the things I want to stress earlier on is this amendment and the recommended changes, and the red line version was in there. There are no changes to rates, the rate classes, or any other structures or fees related to this. This was moving what I would call the business license fiscal year from May 1st to April 30th.
So the municipalities reserve the right to change their rates at will?
Municipalities will still be allowed to set their rates at what they want to set their rates.
Right.
It's more about standardizing the classifications of businesses. So with that said, really the largest change, or the most significant change that was in this is previously we operated business license on a calendar year from January 1 to December 31st. This year, business licenses, so this business license year people had already paid for is actually going to be extended out until April 30th with a business license renewal beginning May 1st for businesses. So it will run May 1st to April 30th every year. One of the challenges was that businesses have to do their taxes and things like that, and April 30th was a good deadline to set that renewal rate, or May 1st, beginning with the new business license. So as a part, they're asking every city to adopt May 1st to April 30th as the business license year. That being really the highlighted change that was within your packet. I think there were other numerous wording changes and grammatical things.
Thank you, staff and council, for preparing this. My question is on section 715, registration required. The addition of and an annexed business shall be required to have a business license within 30 days of the annexation. I'm assuming that came from the Municipal Association?
Yeah.
Okay, and does that affect anyone within the last 30 days inside Batesburg-Leesville?
We have not annexed anyone in a couple of years.
Thank you. And so will any of the changes in here affect any of the businesses inside of Batesburg-Leesville upon adoption?
No.
Not the election date?
Except for the date change.
Date, right.
Right, the date of renewal.
Mm-hmm.
The 2019 license will begin May 1st. They'll need to have that.
Call for the question.
Let's see, we have a first and a second. And any other discussion? This is voting on the first reading ordinance to amend the business license ordinance to reflect changes to the MASC model ordinance. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the ordinance has been adopted first reading. Moving on to item E, this is the first reading ordinance to adopt the low-income senior assistance program. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prouse, a second by Mr. Simpkins. Any discussion?
Yes. The reason that we're taking this up, Batesburg-Leesville has been doing this for several years now. I don't know exactly how many, but it's over 10 years that we have been assisting our senior citizens with their water bill and sewer bills. And with the cost of goods and services increasing annually, we thought that we should revisit our protocol in terms of the individuals who were qualified for this assistance. And after meeting with staff, we came up with a formula, and I think council has that formula, was given to us tonight. And it says the U.S. Federal Poverty Guidelines used to determine financial eligibility for federal programs and is currently under consideration for use to define low income for the Senior Citizens Program was released on January the 11th, 2019. the current federal poverty level, the FPL, low-income rates used by senior citizen assistance program, and the potential new rate is provided below. And it begins with persons in household. And I'll just use one because it's a senior citizens program, and usually there is one, maybe two senior citizens in the household, I guess, on an average. So the federal poverty level for one person living in a household is $12,490. Two people in a household is $16,940, and this is monthly income. We had been requiring individuals to not earn more than $14,400. If they earn anything above that, they did not qualify for our assistance. So we thought that it was time to look at increasing that, and administration suggested a new formula, which would be 130% or a 30% increase of the federal poverty level. For one person living in a household, it would be $16,237. That would be the qualification limit. And for two people living in a household, it would be $21,983. And we're asking council tonight to adopt this new formula, which we've never used a formula before. We've just said anybody making over this amount or below this amount, they will qualify. So now we have a track that will dictate or determine, and with an increase every year of the 130% annually, it will be determined by that it will increase each year as the mainly Social Security benefit checks increase and whatnot, so we can have more people qualifying for these funds. And that's why we revisited this.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Charles, and thank you for the work on this program, especially in originating in its origin. Any other discussion, questions? Okay, District 1?
District 1 votes yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The first reading ordinance to adopt low-income senior assistance program as presented has passed.
Thank you, Council.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Charles, again for your work on that. Moving on to the manager's report, Mr. Luckadoo, if you would take the stand, raise your right hand, repeat after me, please.
Mr. Mayor, if I would like to begin by inviting, we have Mr. Maurice Lindsay, who is with the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition of Lexington. He had reached out to me a while back ago. They're a coalition for fatherhood here in Lexington County, and they wish to share a little bit about their service they provide here in the county.
Absolutely, please step on up. You may have to raise the microphone for that one, Jim.
Mayor Shull, Council, Mr. Luckadoo, thank you so much. To all fine citizens here at Batesburg-Leesville, my name is Maurice Lindsay. I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition. I'm a lifelong resident here at Batesburg-Leesville and a graduate of the Batesburg-Leesville High School, class of 1987. Great. So I'm glad to be a part of this community. Thank you for everything that you all are doing here. I'm very proud to be a part of the Batesburg-Leesville community. Again, I'm here for the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition. And statistics will show you that when a father is not involved in their children's life, they're most susceptible to be abuse drugs, teen pregnancy, high school dropouts, and the list goes on and on and on. Even includes health. That's where the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition comes in. What we do, we're definitely a non-profit organization. We help young men overcome the obstacles that they may have in their life to keep them from being the great dad they want to be. Whether that's economic stability, whether it's helping them find a job, whatever it is, that's what we do. We're located in Lexington, right across from Fats Cafe. Our office hours are from 8 to 5 every day. I'm going to leave some materials here for you all to look at. If ever that you like for us to come out to your job, come out to your church, come out to your home, any men's groups, we'll be more than happy to come out and tell you more about our program and our organization and what we do. Did I say free? Did I mention free? Well, everything we do is absolutely free. Doesn't cost our participants one thin dime to come. We have a great relationship with the courts of Lexington County and Orangeburg counties, and of course Richland counties. We're great with the Department of Social Services. We have five in the Midlands. One in Lexington, one in Newberry, one in Richland, one in, where we leave out, Sumter, and Aiken. So just about anywhere you can throw a rock, we can be there to help any young men out, and some women now. We have opened up our program to women because some women do need some of the services that we have to offer. So I have with me today our site director, Mr. Jermaine Johnson. So he's going to tell you a little bit something about the impact reports that we have.
Well, I didn't have to say anything. He didn't need me. This is his town. Obviously he feels right at home. But I am Jermaine Johnson, Dr. Jermaine Johnson. I'm the site director of the Lexington Office of the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition. And I do appreciate you all for letting us come out here and explain exactly what we do. We've been around in Lexington County since the late 90s, early 2000s. But if any of y'all have never heard about us, I have to say that the Fatherhood Coalition got to take the blame for that, because I think we've done a poor job of letting everybody know that we've been serving your community for over 20 years. So we've been down here, we've got participants that are in our program that are from Batesburg-Leesville. We've been traveling down here, picking them up, bringing them to group sessions, and bringing them back. We've been doing a lot of stuff for your community, but I think it's about time that we let you all know that we've been around, and we want to increase our relationship with you all, to let you all know if there's anything that we can do for you all to help any of your citizens out. Please don't hesitate to call us or reach out to us and say, hey, we've got these services that are here. We do have these impact outcome reports that I'm going to have him. There's one for Lexington County, and then we've got one for the entire Midlands. So if you will see on there how much money that we are saving Lexington County, that we're saving, all the town here. We saved y'all some tax funds. I know y'all like to save taxes. We've impacted over 700 children, and that's just in 1 year. All right, so we specialize in re-engaging the non-custodial parent back into the lives of their children. So when these fathers are non-existent, so instead of going to jail, when they go in front of the judges, the judge says, hey, would you like to go to their program? Would you like to go to jail for 6 months? Well, naturally, they want to come to our program, right? You want to come to our program, you want to be around other men who are going through the similar situations you're going through. And so they'll come to our program, and we'll help them with parenting skills, we'll help them with economic stability, we'll help them with healthy relationships. And we also have a program called the Job Boot Camp. Job Boot Camp is a 5-day job simulation workshop where we teach them everything from resume writing to interviewing and how to dress for success. I've taught about 70 men how to tie ties. You would not even understand how many men who are old enough to be my father, and I've taught them how to tie a tie. So we're helping these men just to become better men, and they smile, they get to go home, and they teach their children how to tie a tie. It's just special things like that. Yes, sir.
Bow tie.
I tie bow tie too. I tie those too. So that's one of the good things that I get to do in my job every day. So since I've been promoted to the site director of the Lexington office, what I've done, I've made fiscal year 19 an emphasis on relationships. To get out here, because there's a lot of people out here that really need our service that don't know too much about us, and we really want to make a huge impact on the county of Lexington.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys, what you do. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Mayor, I would like to continue on this good stuff if I can.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I would like to bring forth Ms. Donna Cirillo. I'm going to stop right there. Cirillo. Who is the branch library, Batesburg-Leesville branch library. I think they want to come and share some of the new stuff they have going on, as well as a little bit about the library.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you today. I have only been in the Batesburg-Leesville library for 3 months, so I want to have a chance to say hello, introduce myself to the council. I have met several of you. You come in my building, and everyone has made me feel so welcome. So I do thank you. I am a longtime resident of Lexington County, but I'm new to this area, and everyone in town has made me feel right at home. So I do appreciate that. I do want to let you know, a lot of people maybe haven't been to the library lately, and we get the question all the time, are libraries still relevant? Do people still use it? Doesn't everybody have the internet? As you all know, everybody does not have the internet in their homes, and even if you do, the internet is a very big and scary place. So I'm here to tell you that your public library is thriving. We are alive and well. Your citizens are coming in and using our services every day. And I would like to ask you to just help support that, help us bring people in. We still have books. Books are not going anywhere. They are our mainstay. But we also have downloadable materials. So if you can't come in, you can download books, you can download audiobooks, magazines, all of that from home. We have databases to help you so that you don't get lost in that Google, Wikipedia, endless cycle of, is this information accurate, can I trust it? We have our website that has databases that we have tested, we have verified good, secure information for you and for your children if you have students who are looking for research. Some of the maybe more non-traditional things that we have to offer, we have going on right now. We offer yoga every week in our library that's absolutely free. I'm going to play back on that free concept we were hearing about. We like doing free things. We offer crochet. So if you know anyone who likes to crochet, we do that a couple of times a month. And just before I left there tonight, we had a group of parents and kids dressed in their pajamas, getting their bedtime story read to them so that when they get home, their kids are all ready for bed. So we provide that evening service for parents who can't bring their kids out to the morning story time programs. So we do bedtime story time, and they have a lot of fun with that. I brought with me today some programs that we have that have our programs highlighted for all libraries in the county. All of our programs are free and open to the public. You do not have to have a library card. We want you to have one, but you don't have to. You don't have to live in the county to participate. Again, we will try to get you to get a library card, but you don't have to. So I brought several books with me. I would love for anybody to pick those up. If you have a business place where you can put some out, take a handful. And I brought my colleague, Matt Steinmetz, who's going to tell you about a special program that we've got that we do need some specific help with.
That's right. So my name is Matt Steinmetz, and I'm the Patron Training and Technology Coordinator for the Lexington County Public Library System.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they were able to fit all that on my business card. So one of the jobs that I have is to try and promote new adult programs for the library system. And I'm kind of excited about getting this off the ground. It's offering free tax assistance to lower income and senior folks in the Batesburg-Leesville area through AARP. Well, we don't have right now a volunteer to do that. We've done our best to try and drum up that business. Right now we're going to be having some folks who are going to substitute in from our Irmo branch and from our Lexington branch to try and help us out. But we really are sort of in desperate need, and we want to get this going, is to get a volunteer who can sit in once a week for about 2 months after getting some training to help provide some free tax service or assistance to folks. So if you know of anybody, I've got some handouts, or they can call me. My phone number is 803-785-2637. It's 803-785-2637. My name is Matt. Just give me a call, because we really like to get that going. We got a lot of folks coming to Irmo. We got a lot of folks coming to Lexington. And a lot of folks coming from here to both of those branches and tell us that they're coming all the way there to get that done. We'd like to provide that service here for free for the
Great. That'd be fantastic. Thank you both for being here this evening.
I have a quick, Donna, you can be reached at the library daily?
Yes, sir, every day.
Okay, now you said something that I wasn't aware of. Was that to take advantage of the library services or the programs that you offer that you do not need to live in Lexington County?
You do not. The Lexington County Public Libraries are supported by property taxes, so if you pay property taxes in the county, you get a free library card, but we don't check you at the door. You have to have a card to borrow materials, but if you want to come do the free yoga class, you're welcome to come in, anybody and everybody.
Now, is that with other surrounding counties also? Are you aware of that?
Of what they offer?
Yes.
I'm not aware. Similar, usually, yes.
I don't think they have yoga like we do.
They don't.
Because obviously we,
They're not as much fun as we are.
as a body, love the yoga.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this time, item C, recognition of 2018 Town Award winners, Mr. Luckett.
Okay, real quick, want to run through, I think we've got a few people here that were award winners for this year. I do want to start out by saying that our police department has not had their end of the year party to recognize their award winners at this point, but once they have, we will certainly bring them back to council for recognition. But would like to recognize those award winners. If you are here, if you'll just come up front real quick so everybody can see your smiling faces, I would appreciate it greatly. I do know our Employee of the Year this year, Cindy Apple, she was not able to attend tonight, but she was our Employee of the Year. Supervisor of the Year, if I could just ask her to stand up where she's at, Miss Judy Edwards. Don't think we have anyone here tonight from this department, but our Department of the Year was the Batesburg-Leesville Police Dispatchers. But I know we have Chief Oswald here who oversees that function. We do have our Rookie of the Year for the town in attendance, Mr. Joshua Fry. If you would, please come up, sir. Our Team Player of the Year, I don't believe he's here tonight, but Mr. Jeff Padgett. Our Inspiration Award winner this year, Mr. Seth Duncan. Firefighter of the Year, Mr. Jason Herbert. Our Fire Officer of the Year, Mr. Dustin Krabs. These were your award winners for the town for year 2018. We appreciate everything that they've done. We wanted to make sure we recognize them to you guys tonight. Got 4 service awards real quick. I just want to note Randolph Driggers got the 5-year service award. Mr. Officer Deepak Harpalani, 5 years. Miss Denise Pryor here at Town Hall had 15 years. And Miss Judy Edwards celebrated 40 years in 2018.
Moving on to item D, SCE&G's 2019 tree trimming.
In case the public's not aware, SCE&G does come and cut down lots of limbs and trees throughout the year. Every year, Mr. Billy Harbuck with SCE&G does come and sit down with me to talk about the current year's tree trimming or each year's tree trimming that's going to occur. This year, they have contracted with Lucas Tree Company, so that is who we will see throughout town throughout the year 2019. They do anticipate starting around June. Most of the work, I do have a map. I did leave it in my office, and as soon as I get a chance, when we get a break, I'm going to run and grab it, put it on the counter, so if people want to know where exactly the tree trimming is going to occur this year, they can take a look at that map. But most of it is going to be within council districts 6, 7, and 8. For the council members that are curious, I don't think the rest of you are going to have to field many complaints this year because they're not going to be cutting trees within your districts. But I will say, if you do get a complaint from someone about the tree trimming in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. Billy Harbuck with SCE&G is very responsive. He will personally come out there if there's a complaint to take a look at it. So.
Yeah, it does concern me. The vehicle looks like a transformer and with a big buzzsaw on the end of it. And I don't know how much thought's given to this. Certainly in the beautification, I don't think there's any thought that's been given to it. So I would ask that you and Town Hall be very aware of the tree trimming, as they like to call it. And I know I have my Lexington County folks in here kind of crouching down in their seat back there.
Well, they call it tree trimming, but it depends on the tree and how close it is. It may not be a trim, but
right. So thank you.
But there are very defined standards on how they cut the trees. It's not do whatever you have to do. There are certain cuts depending on how it's over or under or around. They have a very defined standards.
Okay. Yes.
As a new council member, I've already received a request from a neighborhood that trees be trimmed back on an uninhabited house, do we contact?
If you would just send that to me, the request, and I'll take it whichever direction it needs to go. Whether it's DOT, SC&G, whomever, I'll get it in the right direction.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to item E, South Carolina Ethics Commission Annual Statement of Economic Interest.
It's that wonderful time of the year.
Hate it.
For the newly elected council members, you had to complete a statement of economic interest when you filed for election. You have to do it again by March 30th, 2019. So I've actually sent an email out with the instructions on when and how this needs to be done, but just to remind you, March 30th, 2019 is the deadline to have that done. Just as a point of emphasis, there is a $100 fine if you don't have it done in time.
And Ted, they have no qualms about sending you a bill.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they will bill you.
They will bill you.
Item F, project updates.
I got just...
So do you have one more thing? Yeah.
No. I've got numerous updates, but they're very quick for each one of these items listed under item F. We kind of hit on hospitality tax earlier, that it began January 1st. Just wanted to remind council, we have reached out to the businesses to confirm that they are collecting, and the first remittances by these businesses to the town will be due by February 20th for what's collected in January. The master plan study, the request for proposals, this is all part of the MASC Economic Development Grant that we received for $25,000. The RFPs were posted to the SCIBO, South Carolina Business Opportunities website on Wednesday, January 2nd. Anyone interested in performing this master plan study for the town will need to submit their RFP to us by January 30th when that closes. As a reminder, this is for improvements and revitalization study in both the downtown business districts, both the town-owned parks, and the historic Haynes Auditorium facility. Once we have received those RFPs, we will bring those back to you guys for discussion and selection of a firm. The walk and bikeability study. Not a lot has changed on this since the last update I gave. I will be at a meeting tomorrow at Central Midlands Council of Governments tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock a.m. to talk about the next steps with regards to the walk and bike study, and I will follow up with the feedback from that on Friday in the weekly report to you guys.
Thank you.
We have submitted a 2019 CDBG application. I'd like to just throw out to the county officials sitting in the back of the room, any support for this moving forward in the future would be greatly appreciated.
Greatly appreciated.
And we appreciate all the assistance they have given us. They've been very gracious to us in the past few years, and we do appreciate that. But we have completed another application for this year, 2019, to move our existing gas feed system at the wastewater treatment plant to liquid feed and to come up with a building with better containment. Gas is very scary when released. We would like to house it in a facility with liquid that has a catch basin in the bottom to prevent any future spills in the future. This is something that's been highly recommended that we do at our wastewater treatment plant. We did present this project to them this past week to the selection committee, and hopefully we will know something back here in the next month or two on that. I will tell you they received 15 applications with over $2.5 million in requests, and they get, I believe it's about $1.5 million each year, ballpark. So they got about $1 million more in requests than what they typically get on an annual basis to get put out. So just a reminder that we did present that, and we'll be waiting to hear if we receive anything. The water project study, just real quick, previously mentioned that we've received the RFQs for interested firms wanting to perform the study on the joint municipal proposed project and the Saluda County purchasing water from them proposed project, as well as running raw water from the lake back to our current water treatment facility with upgrades occurring there. October, man, I'm trying to speed this year up quick. January 28th, we have a work session planned for that evening, to which we will be bringing these RFQs for discussion back to you guys. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Luckadoo. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to convene executive session for discussion regarding economic development opportunity in relation to Project Covenant. Do I have a motion? Mr. Simpkins, and a second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? We are now in executive session for discussion regarding economic development opportunity in relation to Project Covenant. At this time, I would entertain a motion to return to regular council meeting following a discussion regarding economic development opportunity in relation to Project Covenant.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gambrell, and a second by Ms. Hallman. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. And we are back in our regular council meeting. There are no possible actions by council and follow-up to executive session. Moving on to item 13, potential agenda items for next month's meeting, February 11th, 2019.
Mayor, I would like to place on the agenda for next month an item for executive session dealing with a contractual matter.
Okay. Any others? Moving on to item 14, entertaining a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gambrell, second by Ms. Hallman. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. And we are in adjourned.